Hey guys, it's the Wasteland Girl Detective, and today we're looking at Max Health Food Buffs, the meat ones. A few weeks ago, I had, well, probably more than a few weeks ago, a viewer requested a video on health buffs. I already have a video on Carnivore Endurance buffs, which I will put a link to that video in the description. So rather than just redoing that and doing like a broad overview of Max Health buffs, I'm just going to break it up. So this will be Carnivore Max Health buffs today, and then over the next few weeks, I will release the herbivore ones. Yeah, that makes sense. Real quick to recap for anybody who's not familiar with carnivore and herbivore mutations, there's serums that you can take. You find them under AID. Basically, generally speaking, if you're a herbivore, then under your cooking menu at your cook station, the plant stuff is going to work for you. And if you're a carnivore, the food under the meat stuff is going to work for you. There's some exceptions to that rule. One of those exceptions is actually one of the foods we're looking at today, Cranberry Meatball Grinder. If you're running herbivore and you pop a herbivore serum, you'll still get that max health carnivore benefit from it. Angry Turtle has a whole video on what is being called like megavore, so I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to confuse things. It's kind of unknown if that's like a permanent feature or temporary. So just maybe tuck that little fact in your brain. Maybe we should also talk about what max health is, what I'm talking about. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll have your health bar, which is measured in HP or hit points, health points. I'm just going to refer to it as health. You can take certain buffs and that'll increase your health bar. So if your maximum amount of health is 400 and you take something that gives you max HP plus 100, then your health is going to be 500. That's a quick explanation. If you have any questions, just throw them in the comments. So today we're going to look at farming ingredients for 2 max health buffs. Carnivore, I won't keep repeating the carnivore part. We're going to look at Cranberry Meatball Grinder and Fasnacht sausages. Here I've got them posted with their effects. You can see that I've added strange in numbers perk card. That perk card just increases the effectiveness of your mutation if you're on a team with other mutated people. So if you're running mutations, you really should be running strange in numbers perk card. Those 2 recipes are both the top tier ones. They provide the most amount of max health buff. We're not going to look at the lower level ones, and I'll explain the reason for that later. Here are the ingredient lists for both. Usually I do 1 recipe at a time and firm for ingredients, but because there's such an overlap for ingredient locations for both recipes, we're just going to look at them together. So you can see we need cranberries and scorched beef meat and spices and intestines and spoiled meat and tick blood. I think that's everything I needed to look at. Yep. I'm not going to talk about boiled water and purified water. Purified water, you often get that as a reward from events. You can find them at other players' camps if you don't already have purified water in your camp. Same thing with wood. So we'll just look at the other ingredients. Okay, first ingredient we're going to look for is scorched beef meat, and we're going to the nests. First nest location we're going to is behind Vault 96. While we're there, we're also going to find some spoiled meat for the Fasnacht sausage. Probably saying Fasnacht sausage, but chalk it up to my Canadian accent. The challenge with hunting for scorched beef parts is you never know what you're going to find. Usually it's the opposite of what you're looking for, but let's see what we get. See, here we get a scorched beef brain, and that would be amazing if I needed it, which I don't. But to the left of it is a dead Brahmin. I didn't grab it at the time, but they do have spoiled meat on them. And then up here, there are 2 more scorched beefs. One of them is like empty 50% of the time, and one of them usually has something in it, but today neither of them do, unfortunately. But it is definitely worth checking out. Next, we head over to Watauga Civic Center. And we run all the way up these outside steps and we engage some super mutants. And lo and behold, we find some scorched beef meat and some more spoiled meat. Then we're going to head over to Watoga Municipal Center. This time we're going to go in the building and all the way up to the top. You can jetpack over there if you feel like doing it. I find this faster. And you can see there's a few more scorched beef nests up here, as well as some dead carcasses with spoiled meat, which is good because you actually need quite a bit of spoiled meat and scorched beef meat. And you can always farm scorched beef meat the old-fashioned way by going to fisher sites. Just make sure you have Butcher's Bounty equipped, and if you have Backwoodsman 1, I think it is, just to increase the possible yield of whatever you get off the scorched beast, in this case, meat. Next, let's look for spices. We're going to go to Rapid Inn Camp. I will also link the video I made for farming salt, because typically where you find salt, you're going to find spices. There are so many airplanes flying around today. Anyways, just so I don't duplicate a bunch of work, check out that video. It's got several locations to spot. But today we're going to Rapid Inn Camp. We'll just bypass this spicy yao guai here. So there's two buildings. One of them is an instance. One of them, pardon me, isn't. Lots of condiments here. I know I'm looking for spices. Both recipes call for them. I just pick up everything I see. Salt, pepper, sugar, spices, doesn't matter. I'm going to pick it up. But as you can see in the kitchen, lots of spices. And then if we make our way over to the other kitchen in the other building, more spices. Good rule of thumb is if there's a kitchen, you can probably find some spices. Another good place to hit up any vendor, White Springs Mall, just because you have a lot of vendors there. You also can find spices there. Not always, but they have a chance to sell them. Next up, let's look at cranberries, because you can't have cranberry meatball grinders without cranberries. Fast traveling to Mac's farm. There's a lot of cranberries here. There's also a lot of mirelurks here and a mirelurk queen. Just be aware of that. Also, make sure that you equip your green thumb perk like Butcher's Bounty. It's found under Perception. There is a magazine. I am blanking on it right now. It's Backwoodsman 4. That will increase your plant yield. That shack I was running around in, there are cranberries in there. I don't know why I didn't stop and get them. There are your cranberries right there, and they're found all around. You just kind of have to search for them. And then in this little dinghy in the middle, there's a bunch more cranberries that you don't want to miss. Next up is Sunrise Field. Same idea as Mac's farm. There's a bog with cranberries in it and cranberry plants, and there are mirelurks and a mirelurk queen. There are also blood eagles shooting at the mirelurk queen and the mirelurks and you, so just be aware of that. And then our last stop for cranberries, which I actually normally start off with this because it's the least spicy area, that's Aaron Holt Farm. There are, it's like 6 to 8 cranberry plants. I can't remember. So that is another place to go, especially if you don't feel like dealing with a queen. So now, besides the purified water and wood, we've actually collected all the ingredients we need for cranberry meatball grinders. The nice thing about cranberry meatball grinders is it does last an hour and a half, that effect. The only real downside to it, unfortunately, is it does need scorched beef meat, which can be a bit of a pain to farm. We still need a couple more ingredients for Fasnacht sausage, one of them being tick blood, which in all honesty is a bit of a pain to farm as well, but here we go. So if you go into the mire west of Big B's rest stop, there's a little shack and you can find a whole pack of ticks there, which as I say it just sounds really gross. Ugh. So all that in just one tick blood, the rest are tick blood stacks. Unfortunately, there's not a way I know of like increasing the chance of tick blood. If you let them feed on you too much, they explode and then you can't harvest anything from them. So, oh, this is just giving me the cringe. Another location is Moonshiner's Shack in the forest. If you have the camp resource Morbid Well, it does have a chance to produce tick blood. As you can see, we have a few here. And you can see what I mean by exploding. Dolly Sod's Wilderness is another place. It's helpful if you pop a berry mentat because sometimes it's hard to spot them. We're just going to run the gauntlet of Yao Guai, and then behind that interpretive center gift shop place, that's where you'll find ticks. And if you just kind of circle out wider and wider, you'll find some more ticks, or I guess they find you. Events like Campfire Tales and even Project Paradise, those are good events for harvesting ticks. There's places in Skyline Valley as well. Those are just my go-to locations that I've shown you. For intestines and spoiled meat, for intestines, you can hunt squirrels, rabbits, and chickens, and during Fasnacht, that's awesome, or Graham's Meat Cook, but thrashers are better. So if we head to the Skyline Valley at Three Ponds, as I understand it, Butcher's Bounty does not increase the drop rate for intestines. I also don't like hunting possums. But for intestines and Butcher's Bounty, if somebody knows different, if that's changed, if you could put that in the comments, that would be awesome. Next, we'll go to Research Station Bavaria. As you can see, there are more thrashers here. And actually, if you're running caravans, that's a really good way to find intestines, especially if you're on a server where somebody's running a lot of them. You can just run the caravan circuit and there's just going to be intestines on the ground. Now, north of Milepost 0, you can also find more thrashers. Lastly, Naked Creek has several thrashers, as well as carcasses with more spoiled meat. The clips that I took of Naked Creek, I cannot get them downloaded for some reason. I have no idea why. So unfortunately, there's not the footage from there, but you can visit it and find those ingredients there. You can also fast travel to Flatwoods, and there's some dead Brahmin there, and you can find spoiled meat that way. Honestly, there's quite a few locations you can find spoiled meat. And of course, if you've ever been carrying meat on your person that you haven't cooked, it turns into spoiled meat eventually. So that's probably the easiest way to get spoiled meat, is just check your inventory. That is all the ingredients. Hopefully that made some sense the way I did my grocery shopping. And you can craft the cranberry meatball grinder and Fasnacht sausage. Just make sure you have super duper active. Now at the beginning, I said there's 2 lower level max health items that I don't prepare and I wasn't going to cover. That's because 2 of those are Nuka dogs and Nuka bottle dogs. I just go to Betty and I get them there. Betty is a food vendor at Nuka World. She's got all kinds of great things, especially if you're running carnivore build, like Yao Guai pastry and Gulper stuffed foot. She also has the Nuka dog, Nuka bottle dog. Since I'm always going to Betty to pick up stuff, I grab those items while I'm there anyways. You can, of course, visit other sources like the White Springs restaurant. I find that they often have cranberry meatball grinder. Yasmin does as well, so those are 2 other spots that you can check out. That is it. That is all I have for today. Hopefully that all made sense. If you have questions, put them in the comments. If you have favorite farming spots I didn't mention, please add those. I just put my spots. There are, of course, many other spots that you can find some of these ingredients. Thank you so much for watching. I will be gone for 2 weeks and then I'll have another video. So I'll see you guys then.